Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And we welcome in a special guest with us here today as we are into, I guess the football season all around. We got college football and pro football and high school football camps are going on. So we welcome in Neillsville Granton head coach Reed Lehman to our show. Good morning, Reed.
Good morning, guys.
Glad to have you here. You're coming off the All-Star game where you were one of the coaches down there. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the experience down there for that.
Yeah, so that was a really cool experience to be part of. I was lucky enough to be part of it as a player back in 2011, and then got to be a part of it again this year as a coach. And it's just a really, really cool experience to get to work with a bunch of coaches from around the state and a bunch of kids from around the state. And, just kind of a cool experience, tough trying to install an offense and a defense and, really 4 days of practice. And but it was a great experience getting to work with a great group of kids and great group of coaches, and overall between the 6 teams that play in the game, the North and South, small, large, and then 8-mans, we raised $350,000 for Children's Wisconsin. So for a great cause and just a great experience for all the kids and all the coaches as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about is getting the kids ready to go for a game like this. But you're looking at the best of the best, basically, in the state, the seniors. So it's probably not all that difficult. They pretty much know the terminology that you're going to be using.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just getting them to understand a few maybe the different terms and words, the verbiage we might use as coaches versus what they may be used to at their high schools that they played at. But overall, getting those kids ready. It wasn't terrible. Surprisingly, we had one practice Monday night and then 2-a-days on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and that was it for getting ready to play a game Saturday. So,
what about the game itself? Surprise you at all on the score, or what was the competition like? I'm not familiar with the South. A lot of those schools. I guess you're probably not either.
No, not really, honestly. But it was a cool game. Fun to be part of a close game like that. And it came down to the final play where the South had a chance to possibly score a touchdown in the last play of the game, and the defense had to make a stop and came up big. Yeah. So,
all right. So this football season going to be getting underway. You have a camp going on right now. Maybe just a little bit about what goes on with the football camp here.
Yeah. So we're running our camp a little bit different than we have in the past years. Last year we had a joint practice day with Colby. This year we decided not to do that with kind of our change of how we're running things. We're having it's turning into more of like a basic fundamentals camp. We have, we're taking everybody and putting them through the basic fundamentals on both sides of the ball. So we're all learning how to block. We're all learning how to carry a ball. We're all learning how to catch a ball. All those things that are important to be able to be good at football on the offensive side of the ball, and then defensively, same thing. We're all learning how to play some pass coverage. We're all learning how to shed blocks and make tackles and try to take the ball away and things like that. And so it's just kind of been it's been a really fun camp that way. Keeps it easier going with like the fact that we go 7 through 12, so our 7th graders aren't, in the past we've had our middle schoolers I think they felt left out because if we're installing a lot of stuff, it's not always the same stuff they're doing when they get to their middle school season. So
I know I heard from some of the kids that they're doing offensive line stuff that they won't do when it comes game time. But hey, you got to get everybody doing the same thing.
That's right.
And I think that improves your depth in the long run too, doesn't it?
Yeah, you never know.
You
Absolutely,
never know.
Absolutely. There was a time last year where we were thinking about moving Gunnar Barth and Marcus Luchterhan both to guard because we're having some injuries, and we thought maybe we're better off with those guys blocking so guys can at least have a hole to run through. So never know when you might have to have a kid play a certain position. So.
What about the heat? Does that have anything to do with the camp? I know it's in the morning, so.
Yeah, it hasn't been terrible. Going 8 to 12, we're able to stay out of the heat for the most part, and by the end it gets a little warm, but we're making sure the kids stay hydrated, and and it's not we're not killing ourselves out there. We're not in any gear at all, so the heat hasn't played a big role in things.
Okay.
How has the off season been going for the kids? Weight room participation, everything like that going on. How's that been going?
Yeah, I would say it's been our best our best overall off season for weight training stuff and speed and agility training stuff. We started tracking it starting as soon as football season ended last October, and had great attendance really throughout the season. Had a group of probably 5 or 6 kids that were showing up in the mornings 3 days a week, and a bunch of kids that were coming in the afternoons or lifting as part of practices when they got a chance. And then this summer, kind of the same thing. We've run 3 times for most of the summer, and then the last couple of weeks or since July started, we've run an afternoon time and had some kids coming in then too. So overall, I would say one of our best summers we've had, if not the best.
Good.
And that only reflects on how they're going to play this year. I mean, some of these kids are noticeably getting stronger. I mean, you can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had we've been doing our fitness, or like our weightlifting and running testing, and we've had some kids that have been doing a really good job. Marcus Luchterhan power cleaned more weight than we've had anybody power clean since I've been in Neillsville.
Oh, wow.
So, kids have made some progress. I mean, you can tell the kids that have been showing up versus the kids who haven't been putting in quite as much work, and it's been a lot of positive gains for kids that I hope are gonna equal out to things going better on Friday nights too.
Well, when you look at some of these kids from other schools, you know who the kids are that are in the weight rooms. I mean,
absolutely.
You look at the Regises and the Mondovis and the Fall Creeks, and I mean Stanley Boyd. Some of those kids, they are built. And you know where they've been. Speaking of the conference, it comes up the middle of August. You'll have the first game, I should say, August 22nd. But the conference previews are starting to come out, and the Clarabelle Conference preview came out, and they have Regis on top. But one of the things I was talking to Dick before we went on that I noticed from the all-conference list last year is there were a lot of seniors on that list last year. So a lot of teams going to have some new guys back in there. Especially in the skill positions.
Yeah, I think that's a kind of a sign of why some of those teams were kind of where they were last year, especially when you have a strong senior class. You go back to look at our team from 2023, and same thing. We were very senior heavy and had some really good seniors, and so hopefully this year, with some of the work that our kids have put in, that we can make some moves in the conference and get some kids some recognition too. So, you look at where they have you guys predicted to be in 6th place this year, ahead of Durand, Arkansas, and Osseo Fairchild. Where do you see this team fitting in this year as you look at some of those other teams? I mean, I think we could be anywhere from kind of probably more middle of the pack to potentially, if things don't go well and we deal with injuries like we did last year, it could be worse. But I think we're a team that hopefully can compete with everybody this year, and that's our goal: is get better each day, get better each week, and play our best game, and hope that equates to competing with whoever our opponent is.
Yeah, I really see this conference being fairly wide open. Yes, the Mondovis and the Regises are going to be very good, but other than that, I think it's wide open for that number 3 spot, probably. So
yeah, I think there's enough teams that are going to hopefully be able to compete. And I coached with Brody Marr, who's the new head coach, and Stanley Boyd in the All-Star game, and he was talking about how he told his kids, he's like, it used to be we have to lift weights to try to win the conference. Now we have to be in there lifting weights to compete in the conference. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's where, like I said, hopefully our transition from our kids being, getting more into that stuff, that'll help us compete better in the conference and, be in games. And when you're in close games, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a little bit better this year, coming in with a few more starters back from last year than you had last year coming in. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we return a lot of guys with how young we were last year, and a small senior class, and we've had a few kids that decided not to come out this year that were contributors for us last year, but hopefully, with some of the kids that have been putting in the work, we have guys that can step up and take those spots. Any younger kids coming up through the ranks as far as freshmen? I mean, yeah, well, we should have a pretty big freshman class. There's some good athletes in there, kids like Jace Pedersen, Jackson Schruth, Keegan Ormond. Those are kind of 3 that really pop into my mind. Those are some kids that are, when you watch them play middle school football, you could see that they were kind of the kids that were some of your best athletes out there. And, hopefully we have enough upperclassmen that we can keep those freshmen off the varsity field as much as possible, and get them ready to be varsity players as they get, to be sophomores and juniors.
That's what I was going to say about last year's team. You did have a lot of freshmen that were forced to play because of injuries, and
both ways too.
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, it gives them experience, but then again, inexperience. they get pushed around a little bit out there. Maybe get a little frustrated, but hopefully, like you said, maybe you can keep those upperclassmen together, and things will work out a little bit better this year. Do you see Regis as being the top team this year?
I mean, I think they're always at least one of the top couple teams. They're such a hard team to beat. They put in a lot of work, and they have good athletes, and their offensive system is really hard to duplicate in practices and things like that. So a lot of times the first time you really get to see it is on game day, and it kind of can take some kids by surprise, no matter who you are.
Yeah, it's hard, and a lot of times it's hard to duplicate their speed too.
Right.
Yeah. Much less the formation, and I think it's always been a struggle for teams, no matter who it is. So
it's always interesting to look at their preview, and you see some of these teams, they got 15, 20 kids back. They've got 40 letter winners back from last year. 40.
That's crazy.
Letter winners.
Some guys don't have 40 kids.
I was going to say some don't even have 40 kids on their team, and that's how many they got back. But, so it should be an interesting season this year. You get started again with Neillsville in a few weeks. What do you do now to get ready for those first couple of games? I mean, they're not in the conference. You got Neillsville and Loyal Greenwood, familiar opponents from last year. So you get the camp, a week off, and then practice begins. So what are you going to do now to get ready for these two teams coming up?
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be a lot of just with the camp not being an install and just working on the basic fundamentals. Hopefully, we'll have a good idea kind of what kids might fit in the best spots. When the time comes though, and then we take those first 2 weeks leading up to the scrimmage to be, just trying to perfect our craft as much as we can. Really try to focus on doing the little things right. Whether that be footwork from an offensive standpoint, or whether that's making sure we have our eyes right on defense and we're reading our keys. Just getting our kids ready to try to be able to go out there and compete, right? I mean, that's the goal, is go out there and compete. And last year we were a team that was kind of afraid of contact with how young and inexperienced we were. Hopefully this year, we can get our kids ready to go out there, want to fly around and smack into some dudes. So.
How about your scrimmage? Who are you scrimmaging, Reed?
So our scrimmage will be here in Neillsville this year.
Right.
It'll be on a Saturday, which is different than what we've normally done. So it'll be on Saturday. I think it's August 16th.
Yeah.
So so we'll scrimmage Marathon, Assumption, Black River Falls, Loyal, and us are the 5 teams there. I don't know exactly who we're scrimmaging yet. We'll have either 2 or 3 in there though. So
it's a nice different
teams,
mix too. Cause
a
lot different mix. Really,
some different teams will run some different formations and different things that we can see. So,
what about your team? You have some new guys getting put into the skill positions. Are we going to see anything different out of your team this year? Or not to give away too much.
I mean, nowadays you can't really give away too much. I don't think
everybody's filming
everything. So, I think, one of our best spots for us is going to be quarterback this year. I think Andrew Hazer has made some huge gains throughout the offseason. Having the unlimited contact in the summer allowed us to just have a quick 1-hour practice once a week before our kids went to Marshfield for 7-on-7, and I think that was huge for Andrew and huge for some of our receivers and for those guys to build some chemistry. I think Andrew's hopefully a kid that can have a big season for us at quarterback. And then, obviously Landon had a solid year last year as a freshman. Cody Hart stepped up late in the year.
I was going to say, I think with all the throwing that you guys had to do last year because of injuries and everything, I thought Andrew really built a nice chemistry with Landon and Cody Hart. Mm-hmm. And I thought it very impressive at times. So
yeah.
Because in the running game, you're going to be without, of course, Gunnar Barth, who graduated. Yeah. How does that look there? I mean,
Right now, that's one of our bigger question marks, probably. I mean, that could be a variety of guys. You know, a kid like Lucas Strangfeld has put a lot of work in the off season, and maybe he can step into a role like that. Obviously, not a guy we can ground and pound and hand it off between the tackles over and over again like you could with someone like Gunner. But you know, maybe him, maybe a mixture of like a Marcus Luchterhand or Caden Hartung a little bit. Maybe some of those guys too that can kind of step up and carry the ball for us when we need.
By committee.
Yep, and then be able to get the ball into Landon Rakestraw's hands in as many ways as we can. I mean, he's going to be a kid that I think defenses are going to have to say we need to try to stop him. And so the more ways we can find a way to get the ball in his hands, that'll be the best for us.
Yeah, and defensively, of course, a lot of these guys play both ways, so you probably have to put in some guys there too that are. You're not missing a lot of guys. I want to say you got to plug some holes, but really, Gunner was really the only.
Because you lost Preston Berg at the beginning of the season, so he was never able to contribute. So Gunner was about the only senior that you're really losing in the mix.
I mean, Alex Stry started at corner for us, and Max Heck played some O-line and D-line. But otherwise, there's not a lot. We have a lot of guys with a lot of experience, and so it's going to be a lot of just kind of finding where's the best spot for these guys and get them out there ready to compete. I mean, I think, between guys like Adam Hazer and Evan Gross, who started most of the year on the defensive line for us, and a guy like Hunter Dirks is a senior who was injured last year as a junior. Hopefully he can step in and be a good player for us on the D-line. And linebackers, you have guys like Caden Stry and Andrew Bloom and John Anderson, and Marcus Luchterhand played some linebacker for us last year. There's a lot of different guys that we can get in there, and it may mean playing a little bit different positions. But
and all those kids you just named off, when you see those kids on the street, you can tell they've been in the weight room.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
you talk about John Anderson as a kid that I thought has really ramped up his game.
Evan Gross
absolutely,
he's a beast.
From when he was in 7th grade to what he is now as a sophomore, just a tremendous.
And you mentioned Marcus Luchterhand. I mean, he's been the weights he's been putting up for you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that only helps. All right, well, we appreciate you coming in here and talking high school football. We wish Neillsville Granton good luck on the season.
Yeah.
And,
thank you, guys.
I'm sure we'll be talking to you during the season as well.
All righty.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
That's Reed Lehman, head coach of the Neillsville Granton Warrior football team, as they have their camp going on this week.
Take care, bud.
And they will have practice, full-scale practice coming up. They'll get a week off, and then they'll start that coming up in a couple of weeks. But, looking forward to, I think, the season this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I am, too. The kids took a lot of hits to the face last year, Larry. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, they did.
I think they're going to learn a lot from it, and I think they're going to be able to give it back again this year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep, pretty excited about the season coming up.
Gets underway August 22nd, first game of the season for Neillsville Granton. All right, we switch to baseball, where Legion Baseball has their regionals going on right now. The Marshfield Junior Legion team was beaten on Tuesday, so they are done. The Marshfield Senior Legion team, they are playing over in Wisconsin Rapids. But you look at the All-State team for Legion, and we've got Jack Tubbs, who made that All-State team. Blake Rabb is also there. And Josh Metz is going to be one of the coaches.
Absolutely.
He is the Senior Legion team.
Jack Tubbs just got done playing in the football All-Star game, so he's really going out with a bang. So.
Yeah, he's got his summer is busy.
Yeah, so it's great though. So he had a nice game in the All-Star game too.
Yes, and the All-Star game for Legion is down at American Family Field on Sunday, August 10th.
Yeah, they play it after a Brewer game.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and also the girls will be recognized as well. They don't have a game, but
they will be there.
They will be recognized, and Maddie Cole from the Post 54 Angels is down there, and Grace Harem from the Fall Creek Post 376 is down.
She was a big contributor on their state tournament team this year, too.
Yeah.
Grace Harem.
Speaking of Fall Creek, I don't know if you heard, their softball team is going to have to move up.
Up again. Yeah,
they'll move up next year.
Yeah, so they will be in Division 3 next year.
I believe so.
Yeah, wow. So, and Pacelli will be moving up also.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and Aquinas and Pacelli in baseball as well.
Yeah, so pretty. Yeah, I tell you, it's there's probably not as many teams in the spring, Larry. But I tell you, but those successful programs, and kudos to Fall Creek. moved up and qualified for state and into the state finals. But boy, I'll tell you what, you
get up there farther, and it's You do have a chance to appeal it, but I don't know.
And you look at if Stratford, we don't know what football's going to bring this year, but if Stratford wins D5 again this year, they're going to have to be pushed up into 4. You know, Edgar's going up to 6 this year, so it's unbelievable. So, but
they have a 6-point performance factor that they
factor in. And you look at what the Pacelli girls softball team has done, and Fall Creek, and every year, year in, year out, those are 2 teams that are down at the state tournament.
When you keep doing that, they
see it.
I don't want to say they punish you, but they just want to make it more fair for the other teams.
Absolutely.
I guess.
But in a way, I punish is not the right word, but it's like getting fined for not wearing your seatbelt.
Well, yeah, and a lot of times you move up a division, but the players that were on that team are no longer on that team.
Yeah, and you're bringing in a very inexperienced team. Now, Fall Creek was, they brought back a lot of girls last year, and they might bring back quite a few next year too. I'm not sure, and the same thing with Pacelli is just year in, year out. It's reload, So, and I think Pacelli will be just fine going up, and hopefully Fall Creek is too. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's the
one thing Fall Creek does have going for it, Larry. They play in a very tough conference.
Yes, they do.
And a lot of those teams are already in Division 3.
Oh, right, sure.
Take off of my head, Steve.
McDonald,
Bloomer, Stanley Boyd. They're all up there anyway. And the coach at Thorpe had told us the best thing that happened to him was being in the Clover West.
Right. It helps them during the tournament.
Absolutely.
You bet. You bet. All right, so that's what's happening there: baseball and softball and football and. Let's see what else we got going on here.
Well, let's see. Well,
all the big football teams are in camp.
They're all in, and if you take every other team in the country off the headline, you put Jerry Jones in front of a microphone, Larry, and because they've got Micah Parsons looking for an extension, and I don't think Jerry wants to give it to him just yet.
Yeah. Well, we were talking before we went on about the Brewers and their big winning streak. It really hasn't made the top of the news.
No.
It's been all football. As they start training camp.
Yeah, I said with the Micah Parsons thing, and kudos to Micah Parsons. He did report. I don't think he's happy, but he did report.
He said if nothing happens with his contract, well, then the end is the end.
Yeah, so
he'll leave if he has to.
One other, Tyron Matthew, the Honey Badger.
Yeah,
he and this kind of surprise during the off season, he adjusted his contract to give the Saints some cap room. He retired Tuesday.
Yeah.
After 12 years. So great safety.
Oh,
great safety.
The Honey Badger.
Yes, the Honey
Badger.
Badger.
How do you ever get that?
I guess just the way he plays.
Okay. All right.
I guess a badger is kind of a hunting.
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they're mean. I know they're mean.
They're mean, and I think, and he did play mean too. So, anyway, a week from tonight, the Hall of Fame game will be in Canton,
already
Ohio.
a week from tonight. Jeez.
And that is the LA Chargers and the Detroit Lions. So 1 week from tonight. So.
Okay, yeah, and some of the guys are just getting their training camp started.
Yeah, and then the Packers will have their family night a week from Saturday.
Yeah, August 2nd. And their annual meeting of the shareholders is this Friday afternoon following their practice. Okay. And then they have, you mentioned family night. And then the first preseason game already against the Jets.
And then they will be having practices, I believe, with the Jets that week. I'm not sure. I think so, though.
Okay, well, check on it at Packers.com.
Absolutely.
They'll tell you there. Yeah, the first preseason game already, August 9th. That's not that far away.
No, absolutely not.
We're talking about the Clark County Fair. And
it's
not that
Saturday
far away.
night of the Clark County Fair.
Yeah, it's not that far away.
And that's a couple weeks away.
Not that far away. All right, well, tens of thousands of people are going to be descending upon Cooperstown, New York this Sunday for one of the most revered events in sports. It's the Baseball Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and the names you see on this list are very deserving of being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the one sad one is Dave Parker just passed away.
Right, yeah.
It was before, just literally weeks before he'd have been inducted, which was very sad. But
Dick Allen, Dave Parker, C.C. Sabathia, Ichiro Suzuki, and Billy Wagner will be inducted.
Billy Wagner might be the greatest left-handed relief pitcher of all time. CC, obviously one of the great left-handed pitchers, and And you and I will always remember him, the Brewers trading for him in 2008, Larry, and he pretty much willed the Brewers into a wild card spot that year on a playoff they hadn't been in since 1982. So,
right, yeah.
So, but Dick Allen was a misunderstood guy, but he might have been one of the great players of his time. Just a tremendous, tremendous hitter. Did it with the Phillies and the Chicago White Sox. So.
And Ichiro Suzuki, they were just talking about him the other day, and they showed him on film throwing out in the outfield. They said he could put a uniform on and play right now.
Yeah. And, I think, for my money, nothing against Pete Rose, but Ichiro Suzuki might have been the greatest hitter I ever seen hit.
And he was he was born a right-hander.
Yes.
His dad taught him to hit left-handed because he said it's closer to first base when you hit left-handed.
Got him a lot of infield hits, but the guy was just a tremendous hitter and led off for some very great Seattle teams, and then later on played for the Yankees then. So later on.
I didn't realize he played for that many other teams.
No,
I thought it was always Seattle.
Seattle. But the year Seattle won 116 games, and he was really a key member of that team. So
he has the record for the most hits in a season with 262.
Yep, absolutely.
And that may not sound like a lot, but that's a lot.
When you play, and nobody's playing 162 games these days. So you start talking 260, you're almost going to have 2 hits a game.
That don't happen.
That's 2 out of 5 or 2 out of 4. That's a 400
every game. Every game.
Yeah.
That's not just.
It don't happen.
Yeah,
so there's very few guys hitting over 300 this year, Larry.
Right. Yeah.
And you look what the Brewers are doing, and they don't have a guy barely hitting over 270 in their lineup.
I was going to say, I don't think anybody's hitting 300.
No, not even.
They got the best record in baseball.
Not even close.
How does that happen?
I don't know, but you pitch well and you play good defense. So,
the Brewers don't have anybody in the top of anything except wins with Freddie Peralta.
Yeah, Freddie Peralta has the 12 wins, and then I think McGill is second in saves. And then
in the National League,
in
Major Leagues, he's like
in the Major Leagues. Don't forget
he's probably
that.
down about 10.
Their RBI. They have 2 RBI guys in the 65s, which might scrape into the top 10 barely.
Yeah,
but
home
runs are Yelich leads the team with 19.
And what did Raleigh? Raleigh just got his 39th the other day.
Yeah, Tuesday night. Yeah, off Nick Mears. So
we got our leader has got 19.
Yeah,
I just don't know how it's happening.
Ohtani hits one almost every game. Aaron Judge hits one every game. It's just not a real power-laden team. But they do put their bats on the ball. They don't strike out a lot, and they put their bats on the ball, and they run the bases really well, and they really push the other teams into mistakes. So.
Yeah, and they have this one sports thing that I look at. They were going through with just about halfway through or under halfway through the season. They're looking at Rookie of the Year, MVP, Cy Young. And Jake Mizorowski is on their list of Rookie of the Year.
Absolutely, yeah. They have really held him back, though.
He only pitched 3 2/3 the other night.
Yeah, he threw about barely 70 pitches. Yeah, 60 pitches or so, but that was the plan. He was 4 innings was going to be it, but he didn't get a batter out, and it was a left-handed batter coming up, so they brought in the left-handed pitcher and got him out. So it's the way it was.
That's what they do.
They're not going to let him get into trouble, but
right.
He did strike out quite a few batters, but so
that'd be interesting if he gets that Rookie of the Year with.
Yeah, it's
not a lot of appearances. Of course, it's only July.
Yeah, we'll see if they stretch him out a little bit here coming in too. So, but and another thing too, he hadn't pitched much lately. He had pitched, he pitched an inning in the All-Star game a week ago, and then previously he only pitched, so he had barely pitched much in the last 2 weeks. So,
right. Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too. But and he needs to be a little more economical with his pitches. You look what Brandon Woodruff did Monday night: 62 pitches in 6 innings.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
But Mizorowski is not necessarily pitching to contact.
No,
whereas
he's a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
and Woodruff has learned to pitch to contact.
Absolutely. So, trading deadline is next Thursday too, Larry. So,
okay.
And it's going to be pretty interesting because there's a lot of teams left in the hunt for wild cards. The key team people are talking about is Arizona.
Okay.
Right now, Arizona is 5 out in the wild card, and people are just Eugenio Suarez. Everybody wants him.
Yeah.
And then I think they'd like to take a pitcher or two from Arizona. But
all right, well, that'll be interesting coming into that.
Some of these other teams, Colorado don't have much to offer.
Yeah.
The White Sox not really. Pittsburgh might have a guy or two. Miami has Sandy Alcantara. People are going after him, it seems like, too. So, but
all right, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
all
always
right.
interesting. So
that's Two Guys on Sports for this week. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you next week. Actually, we won't talk to you next week because I won't be here next week. I'm taking off. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Yep.